Thank you, Hayden. And thanks to all of you who are still around.
Sure, if you like, because the camera's on.
Yeah. What is today? Today is the 9th. So I'll just give you a few of the birthdays and death days. I'll be as quick as possible. Going back to last Friday, the 2nd, we have the Marquis de Sade, the Marquis de Sade in 1740. Hudson Valley poet Hagen Smith, can't tell you the year. Thomas Hardy, born in England in Dorset in 1840. And on the 3rd, and I wanted to roast Father Bob, but the 3rd of June was his birthday. He's 77 now. Didn't get a chance to roast him in Dean Martin's roast. Allen Ginsberg, born 1926, and Robert Hillier, born in England in 1895. On the 4th of June, for all you Geminis out there, the great Jazz Age poet Harry Crosby, 1898. On the 5th, Federico Garcia Lorca in Spain in 1898. The anniversary of the death of Stephen Crane of, I think it was consumption, might have been typhoid, but it was in the year 1900, and what was he, 29 years old? David Wagner, American poet, 1926. On the 6th, we have Maxine Cumin, 1925. Thomas Mann, born on top of the Magic Mountain in 1875. On the 7th, now get this, Louise Erdrich. She's part Native American. Go check her work out. It's very interesting how she straddles both consciousnesses. 1954, then Gwendolyn Brooks, 1917. Nikki Giovanni, 1943. And the anniversary of the death of Dorothy Parker from New Jersey in 1967. On the 8th, which was yesterday, the great Robert Schumann, born inside of a piano in 1810. Yes. Robert Desnos' death in 1945 in a concentration camp during World War II. Tommaso Albinoni, one of the great Baroque composers, 1671. Charles Reade, novelist born in England, 1814. Today is the anniversary of the birth of Cole Porter in 1891, and Charles Dickens' death from a stroke, apoplexy, in 1870. He was 58 and a half. Here is one by Thomas Hardy. Of course, my marker is gone, so I'll open up the first one I can find. What'd you say? I don't hear you in the cheap seats. Thomas Hardy. Neutral tones. We stood by a pond that winter day, and the sun was white, as though chidden of God, and a few leaves lay on the starving sod. They had fallen from ash, and they were gray. Your eyes on me were as eyes that rove over tedious riddles of years ago, and some words played between us to and fro, on which lost the more by our love. The smile on your mouth was the deadest thing alive enough to have strength to die, and a grin of bitterness swept thereby like an ominous bird a wing. Since then, keen lessons that love deceives and rings with wrong have shaped to me your face and the God-cursed sun and a tree and a pond edged with grayish leaves. Thomas Hardy. I'll read two new ones of mine that I have to get the hell out of here. So, all right. Some of you are for the birds. I am, I have to admit. And this is for the gray catbird. Some of you have seen it. You know what it looks like. Catbird field hand. Autumn gray catbird is crucial to spring, native to summer. His family has been attached to a heathen estate for generations. He sees ghosts as easily as screech owl, readily as tree-worshipping crow. He prays to ferns, to blue-stem blackcaps and high-bush berries, walks to the creekside to scent the precious crawlies. Does he levitate above windfall, winter remnants, moldered oak leaves and kindred maples, snail parchment? His arcane song resonates from the highest gable to a cornfield in a quiet rabbit warren, pine green hedgerows, even atop our kitchen table, when the window is left open and perfumed house breath is carried out to the sunset. Catbird has secrets. Crows are human elders who shift. Children who lift fog from misty lanes. Deer who chant warm evenings when winter wounds the wet hillside. His work is season song, threshing clover with wingspan hayrake, beak pluck pliers, baled by squirrels who were subcontracted with promise of sunflower seeds and rose hips at summer's end. The garter snakes agree that while blue jays' picnics are well attended, barn swallows' acrobatics are escapist escapades. Catbird, unlike the floral songbirds, is hard at work, saving the lilac from gypsy moth ruin, gathering berries with chipmunk tenants, cleaning the courtyard of creeping worms, but leaving Luna moth to her convent in the cranial limbs of an old white birch. The birds thank you. This happened recently, and I'm glad to say that I intervened and saved the life of this animal. The rescue of baby squirrel. This happened in Florida, New York, spring 2017. Gray was bolder than her siblings, but she knew the barn, the Norway maples, black walnuts, blacktop, and lawn. Often she was seen with a maple seed hanging from her maw like a thin green tongue. Yet how could she pass on the tuna? She smelled it, even down by the creek, amidst distractions of the birds, squirrels' cousins, and contemplative mourners. The draw, the pull, horrible jaws snapped shut in dusty molds and shadows. Gray screeched, wailed like the victim of a hawk strike, abandoned after being dropped in a field without a parachute. He heard her through the cries, though the cries were a bird in distress, a warning to fellow nidifiers of a feline intruder. He approached his coach to depart the Gothic pastoral. The shrieks were strange, no bird. Breezes tousled leaves atop the matron maple, exhorting his exploration of the Victorian barn. The rat trap was a black snare of the Inquisition, designed to bite and hold a curious rodent en route to routing for repast. He quickly grasped the jaws and squeezed to release the ensnared squirrel. She crawled without panic behind a scrap of plywood propped in the shadows. The maple whispered soothing poetry. On Thursday morning, Squirrel was seen eating maple seeds, the rouge of yellow pollen on her tiny head. Thanks.